Hi all, this is Allmighty and welcome to this video. So once again I'm going to show you a Fischer game. It did start recording, had a trouble with that a couple of last times. And yeah, today I'm going to show you a game between Tal and Fischer. Pretty nice matchup, but not just that, from the 1959 Zurich tournament. This is actually a game from the last round and a game that holds a lot of weight because it practically decides the winner of the tournament. Along with Fischer and Tal, in top we have Svetozar Gligoric, and those three players are battling it out for the first place. So Fischer needs a win. On the other hand, Tal is 1 point in front of Fischer. He needs a draw or a win, of course, and yeah, you will see that kind of a movement in the course of this game. So Tal doesn't have to pressure anything, not at his style, going for attacking chess, but still Tal will go for a sharp line. Yeah, that being said, this is the last game from the Zurich 1959 tournament that I will going to show you. Not much to say here, but enjoy, and later on we will see the standings. e4 c5, so Tal is with white pieces. He starts with e4 and Fischer counters with the Sicilian. After knight to f3 d6, and after a couple of opening moves, so exchanges on d4, knight to f6, knight to c3, we do have the Najdorf on the board. So pretty standard stuff for Fischer. A Richter rouser by Tal, so bishop to g5 immediately, and Fischer goes for the main line with e6. We have f4, so no queen to d2, no queen to f3, but f4 the main line. Also a very popular line. Bishop to e7 and queen to f3 now. Now queen to c7 because b5 needs to be prepared. You cannot push it immediately. I've mentioned this a couple of times because then e5 is coming. And bishop to b7 is now possible when queen is on c7. Queenside castle, and now we have knight from b to d7. We have queen to g3, and this is a move I very much like because in the end it does pressure off on g7 and virtually doesn't allow black castling because of this bishop to h6 ideas and stuff like that. So here Fischer goes for h6, bishop to h4, and now rook to g8. So he is forced to defend the pawn with the rook. Otherwise, queen to g7 would have a devastating attack. And a devastating situation would happen on black side. So as it is in Richter rouser, probably black will have to go queenside castle. First we have bishop to e2, so Tal finished development, and now g5, going for a very sharp line. But that's what you do if you want to win the game. You have to go for a sharp line, even if Tal is the one who is standing on the other side. Pawn captures, and now knight to e5. This is a move that is possible, of course, because the pawn cannot capture on h6 nor on f6 because the rook is eyeing the queen, and you will definitely lose material. So here, instead of that, Tal decides to play g6. And after this we have knight captures on g6, rook from h to f1, and knight captures on h4. And you could say that Fischer went out of this situation pretty equally, but that was probably Tal's plan all along because he quite simplified the position. Now after queen captures on h4, the rook is attacking on g2, but on the other hand the rook is eyeing f6, and when you capture on f6, bishop captures, queen captures, you give up a rook for 2 pieces, Tal will be in a better situation. So you're kind of forced to play a rook to g6 and defend the knight. But this allows bishop to d3. Once again, Tal is the one who is pressuring. e5 is the move, and then discovered attack to the rook, and also attacking the knight with the pawn. So knight to g4, discovered attack to the queen, and eyeing with the knight on e5. Queen to h5 first, knight to e5, and now we have knight to f3. Yeah, not much to say here. Tal is playing just typical normal chess. I wanted to also show you, instead of knight to g4, also possible was queen to c5 immediately, maybe gaining something else, but pretty much the equal position will arise like in the previous, so like it did in the game they played. Here after e5 you can play rook to g4, so this is attack with the tempo. The queen has to move, queen h6, and now queen captures on e5, not allowing first attacking this knight, so knight has to come on f3, and then queen to h5, not allowing queen to h8 check. So that was a possibility, but okay, knight to g4, queen h5, knight to e5 as we said, and now knight to f3. pressuring this knight here. Knight doesn't want to capture, but first queen to c5, and we have exchanges in the center. Knight captures, queen captures, queen captures, pawn captures. Then after a couple of moves, we see that Tal isn't interested in going into a very sharp position. He will play g3 here and feel very comfortable. On the other hand, Fischer does have the bishop pair, this too, but he does have a doubled e pawn, so material is equal, but on the other hand his pawn structure isn't as good as Tal's, and Tal knows that. And one thing he has going for himself, the one rook on the open file and the other rook on a semi-open file, attacking this backwards f pawn. So yeah, white is pretty much okay in this position. Black still needs to finish development, so bishop to d7 first, bishop to e2, and now bishop to c6 attacking this pawn. We have bishop to h5 attacking the rook, and rook to f6, not allowing the two attack, the rook and the bishop to attack on f7. a3, not allowing bishop to b4, and now rook to d8. And here, after a couple of exchanges, first on d8 and then on f6, we have a situation with an endgame where black once again has the bishop pair, but not much possibilities because the position isn't all that open. You cannot do much. You can activate the kings, and that is pretty much it. There is no push for black nor for white. So both of the players, but we both know that Tal and Fischer are players who like to battle it out until the end game. But let's see what happened in this game. First, king to d2, activating the king. Bishop g5 check, king to d3, and now bishop to c1. So Fischer goes for these two pawns. The only way to defend them is knight to d1, and Tal plays it. Bishop to b5 check, and now you can play king to c3, allow maybe bishop to f1, transferring the bishop on the other side, or c4. So blocking the attack of the bishop. But this runs into bishop to a4. Seemingly for the moment you think, okay, the knight is attacked after you capture it. Opposite color bishops, but also what happens here, the pawn is attacked and it will be captured. But simply Tal plays knight to c3 attacking the bishop, and there is no time to capture on b2. So bishop to c6, knight to d1, repetition of moves, and once again it seems that it is quite a dead draw. King to f8 by Fischer, h4 by Tal, and once again after bishop to a4 and knight to c3, the players agreed for a draw. So Fischer didn't try out and go for some crazy moves that he can make and maybe even go for that win for a cost of actually losing the game against Tal to maybe go for the first place. He settled for a draw, and in the end he ended up in third place, which you will see here on this standings table. So as you can see, Zurich, Switzerland, from 19th of May to 8th of June 1959. A very nice tournament. As you can see, you have Tal in first place, Gligoric in second, 11.5, 11, and then Fischer and Keres with 10.5 points. Then you have Larsen, Unzicker, Barca, Olafsson. Yeah, a range of very good players on this tournament, along with some not so famous ones, but nevertheless a very, very strong tournament and very nice games. I've showed you a couple, so I hope you enjoyed this coverage of this tournament. Nothing much more to say. I will later on continue with the coverage of Fischer's career and Fischer's life with some tournament from 1960. That being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.